7.3, consideration of agreement between the County of Lake and Nicole Anderson and Associates LLC for facilitation of community visioning forum promoting tolerance, respect, equity, and inclusion in Lake County. And with that, I will hand it over to CAO Hutchinson.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. Matthew Rothstein has just done an outstanding job of supporting the Community Vision Forum Planning Group that has gone through the process of securing bids for facilitators to assist with the next steps of this diversity, equity, and inclusion movement. And I want to introduce him and let him present this agenda item to you. Thank you, Matthew, for all your work.
Thank you, Carol, and good afternoon, board members. This is Matthew Rothstein, Deputy County Administrative Officer. As you will recall, on Tuesday, February 23, 2021, residents from Lake County's richly diverse communities watched as your board unanimously proclaimed promoting tolerance, respect, equity, and inclusion among your highest priorities. Your board's proclamation at that time was a logical next step flowing from a grassroots community effort that began in June 2020, inspired by a Kelseyville area faith leader, Clovis Lewis, and a self-organized group called a Community Call to Action. And it was also a powerful statement. No more could we allow immutable characteristics like the color of one's skin or their cultural background to predict success and failure. No more could we allow unconscious biases to affect our behavior in ways that cause real harm. We had a responsibility to grapple with what could be done locally and act. In the time since, community members and leaders from the County of Lake, cities of Lakeport and Clear Lake, and tribal governments that resonated with your board's proclamation have volunteered to be a part of this effort, serving, as Carol referenced, on the countywide Community Visioning Forum Planning Committee. And we're very grateful that Chairman Crandall and Supervisor Scott have been really, truly invaluable contributors and leaders in that group as well. The committee echoed your board's sense that we need to hear from the public, hear the experiences of Lake County residents. And the committee also found that a professional facilitator, someone with deep experience guiding diversity, equity, and inclusion-focused discussions, would enhance Lake County's efforts. Following a rigorous consultant selection process, we present for your consideration today an agreement with Nicole Anderson and Associates Consulting, LLC, for facilitation of 3 public community visioning forums and other meetings intended to gather stakeholder input and further develop local leaders. Recommendations for next steps of your board and our city councils will also emerge from that process. If your board approves the agreement today, we are hiring a dynamic and expert partner, and Ms. Anderson will work with us in the coming weeks to further define specific plans, and that work is expected to begin in earnest this Thursday afternoon, March 17. Happily, Ms. Anderson already has some familiarity with Lake County, having recently facilitated leadership training for county management staff. The total agreement cost before you today is $33,000, which, as a note, is a fraction of the cost of the other proposal we received, while still promising a very high standard of quality. And the agreement is between the county and Nicole Anderson and Associates. As noted in our memo to your board, we've also invited our city partners to share in the cost using a population-based model, and members of the committee from both jurisdictions had voiced their conceptual support as early as June of 2021. On March 3rd, the Lakeport City Council committed to participating in the cost-sharing agreement, and Clear Lake will further consider the cost share this Thursday evening at their meeting. We're deeply grateful to our city and tribal government partners, to Angela Cuellar Marroquin of the Lake County Office of Education, and the many others, committee members and concerned residents alike, that have contributed to this process thus far. And staff recommends that your board adopt the agreement before you today. We're truly excited by the prospect of Ms. Anderson joining the team that is seeking to promote an even more just and inclusive Lake County. And at this point, I'll yield to Supervisors Scott and Crandall if you have anything further to add.
Vice Chair Scott?
I just want to thank this board for allowing me to sit on this committee. It's been absolutely amazing working with this group to really further develop what we want the promoting of tolerance, respect, equity, and inclusion to look like here in Lake County. And stated in the memo, but I'm going to read it, are some of the things that we felt were important in moving forward and having Nicole Anderson help us develop what this is going to look like in the community. So it's just really exciting conversations that we've been having. But some of the things that we came up with as a committee, and this wasn't done fast paced. This was done with a lot of thought and action, and it took a couple meetings to really define what this list is going to look like. So there was really a lot of thought. But the things that we felt that were important to be looking at to make Lake County a better place for all of us is meaningful actions and activities that will build bridges where there may be walls. Fostering tolerance, respect, understanding, equality, and inclusion, promotion of nonviolence and nonviolent conflict resolution, and focusing resources on underlying causes and conditions that lead to inequitable resources and injustice distribution. So these are the things that we hope to tackle. They're very large agenda items, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Nicole Anderson comes up with to help us direct the county and our community in this direction.
Yes, thank you for that. No, I'd like to also just highlight that working with Nicole, she has also worked with some of our staff already as well, and has done a great job. For me, when I attended, it really opened my eyes to blind spots that I had. It's very important that we all are able to recognize those, and in any capacity when it comes to dealing with other humans. So I fully support this. I enjoy being a part of this, so that we can all come together and resolve issues and also break down the barriers. So when it comes to many of the different challenges we have when it comes to this type of this type of situation, when it comes to community, for the community and equity and inclusion. So, is there any other comments?
Thankful for bringing up those blind spots, because I think sometimes we don't even realize we have them. And that was one of the discussion points, is understanding where our blind spots are,
Right.
and that we do have them, and how do we overcome those?
Right.
Making sure that we're respecting everybody. So it's been a lot of just inner searching and figuring out ourselves to make the community better. So thank you for bringing that point up.
Right, because people really look at things from a perspective of an opinion, and they don't really look at where it's, and so once you're able to look at some of the things that I miss out on, I realize, wow, they may be missing too, so I need to hear them a little more, or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, just wanted to, I'm glad that you mentioned that as well. Any comments, Supervisor Sabatier?
And I appreciate the momentum and progress that the committee has made and what's expected to come in the future. From what I understand, it's a very open public forum that will be offered. And one of the thoughts in my mind when the committee was created was also to provide some feedback to us as a county agency, how we can do better in our hiring practices, in what we're showing off on our website. And I'm hopeful that that can get there, because again, I'm looking at our HR page right now, and I just feel like I took 10, 20 years step back versus what is the new language, what is the new standard, and I'm hoping that we can get some of those suggestions coming back to us, and I don't know if that's a part of that, and we're waiting for the public forum to get to that part, but that's what I'm looking for as well, and just wanted to kind of make sure that that was still a part of that, or if that needs to be a separate conversation. But it looks like from the yes that I'm getting from Supervisor Scott that it is.
It's definitely a part of that. We need to be looking at how we practice and our policies to be able to change our community. So most definitely that is part of that. And that may look different from how the county is to the two cities. So we may come up with a plan and the county may look different than what the city adopts. It's all about the population that we're serving. So there's that too. It's going to look different.
And my question for the committee also has been, have you looked at demographics of staff versus population demographics? Because I know I have, and it's a little jarring to say the least, in order to reach a point where, okay, what is it that we need to do to at least make sure that our candidate pool looks more diverse, that our employment pool looks more diverse, because it really starts with the hiring process, in my opinion.
We haven't dove into that
Okay.
yet far, but that definitely needs to be something we look at.
Supervisor Pyska?
I appreciate this work so much. It's innovative and it moves us forward. And I got a question last night. Is this, that's a lot of money. Is this a response to this particular problem or that particular problem? And it's not. It's about moving us forward collectively, considerately, respectfully, and how we can grow rather than a response to one specific problem that we face. So I just wanted to share that, and I'm so appreciative of all of the work that you're doing in bringing this forward for our community.
Thank you. And I think too, just to highlight what's been discussed here is getting those type of, this discussion before us so that way when we think of the policies like you're talking about with human resources, we can make adjustments so that it actually puts forward new verbiage and new language that promotes what is more equitable and brings us closer to this time and generation that we're in, because that's just very important for us to move forward in that aspect. And this board is a testament to that. So, and staff is testament to that. So I think that's the whole point.
I just want to add that I've said the specific acronym HR, and I know it's been repeated. This is not to say that HR is doing anything wrong. It's our website sometimes doesn't always update with the same. Our processes take a little bit longer to be updated with the same. I think that HR is doing the work that needs to be done. There's some other things that are more difficult to get to. For example, we know what some of our issues are today, but getting to a point where we have an ordinance that fixes it doesn't always happen immediately, because there's a process in order to get those things completed and brought to us. So that's why I'm looking for those types of things to help HR with the things that take a little bit longer to improve on.
Vice Chair Scott?
And I might be way overstepping here, but I would love it as a leader of Clear Lake, because you represent that community, if you could go to their meeting and speak on this, because I know that they were a little concerned about joining us, concerned that they would have to follow the same policies as the county. But just know that their entity would be just a part of this discussion, how we're going to move forward.
And so I did take part in their meeting last time, and it was more a concern of, it felt to them that there was more to come? Was there going to be any more requests where they would have to pay in order to be involved in this? They wanted to better understand the long-term commitment to this versus just what was in front of them. And there was not, at least Mayor Slutin, who is on the board with you guys on the diversity committee, was not able to respond to that, and so they were waiting for a little bit more information. I know that Matthew Rothstein was also there. I believe that was the core of the issue was, is this part of a future request of expenses on this, or is this it? I believe there was some lines that kind of alluded to that there would be more rather than that this would cover the entirety of it. And so they just were looking for more information.
Well, I think this is definitely going to be a larger project, and I know that's been a discussion in the committee meeting of when is this committee done? Is our process done now? We've been tasked with something from the Board of Supervisors to come up with our community visioning. What's that going to look like? And I definitely see this as being a standing committee to continue looking at the issues that we have in our community. We have for too long just let things go, and we need to have a body that's that aware of what's going on. So I see this as something continuously moving forward in our community.
And I would suggest, at this moment in time, it's just an ad hoc committee. I would definitely suggest when you feel, sooner than later, when you feel that that's something that we need to bring back in order to turn it into a standing committee, that would be the appropriate thing to do.
And that's what I think we're hoping that this consultant's going to bring out and really flesh out what that's supposed to look like. Because this is, like you said, just,
It's a visioning forum,
yeah.
so that's what we're getting to
yeah,
eventually. too.
what we want this committee to look like in the future. But most definitely, this will be coming back. My hopes is.
All right. Well, I'll open up to public input. Is there anybody in the chambers that would like to speak on this item on the agenda? And looking on Zoom, I'm not seeing anyone raise their hand, so I'll bring it back to the board for action.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the agreement between County of Lake and Nicole Anderson and Associates LLC for the fertility, I can't say that word, for the, helping us with the Community Vision Forum promoting tolerance, respect, equality, and inclusion in Lake County. Do I need to do a dollar amount?
A dollar amount, would that,
Or is it my motion good? My motion's good. Okay.
Matthew, will you state the dollar amount?
Not to exceed $33,000?
Yes.
Second.
so I have a motion and a second. Johanna, conduct roll call, please.
Okay, Supervisor Simon?
Yes.
Supervisor Sabatier?
Aye.
Supervisor Scott?
Aye.
Supervisor Pyska?
Yes.
And Supervisor Crandall?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Matthew, very much for your help on this and your work on this ad hoc committee.